long before the rivers of Europe carried bustling cities, and before the temples of India echoed with sacred chants, a vast, wind-swept expanse stretched across the horizon, its grasses bending to the rhythm of the wind. This was the Pontic-Caspian steppe, a realm of unbroken plains, dotted with thickets, rivers, and low hills, stretching from the edges of the Black Sea into the lands that would later become the southern reaches of Russia and Ukraine. It was here, among the whispering grasses and under endless skies, that a people arose whose language would become the ancestor of dozens of tongues spoken across 2 continents. They were the Proto-Indo-Europeans, and the story of their speech is a story of innovation, movement, and the indelible imprint of human imagination. The landscape itself shaped them. Winters were harsh, winds cutting across the open plains, while summers brought waves of golden grass that swayed under the bright sun. Rivers meandered through the steppe, providing nourishment for both people and animals. Wolves prowled the fringes of settlements. Herds of wild horses roamed freely, the thunder of their hooves announcing the coming of dawn or the approach of a storm. In this environment, survival demanded ingenuity. To navigate the vast distances, the Proto-Indo-Europeans learned to domesticate the horse, turning a wild and powerful creature into a companion for transport, herding, and even early conflict. This union of human skill and animal strength would become a defining feature of their society, enabling them to traverse hundreds of kilometers across the steppe with relative ease. The settlements themselves were modest but purposeful. Low wooden structures, sometimes reinforced with clay, dotted the open plains. Around these homes, small enclosures held livestock. Cattle, sheep, and goats grazed on the nutrient-rich grasses, while dogs kept watch over the herds. The people tilled the land in careful patches, planting early forms of wheat and barley. Their lives revolved around the cycles of nature, marking the seasons through the sowing and harvesting of crops, the birth of animals, and the migration of birds. They knew the rhythms of the land intimately, and their language reflected this knowledge, encoding the names of plants, animals, rivers, and mountains into a growing lexicon of words that would echo through millennia. Social life in these communities was both intimate and structured. Kinship bonds formed the backbone of Proto-Indo-European society. Fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts, all occupied roles defined both by necessity and by tradition. While the precise organization of their society remains a matter of scholarly reconstruction, the presence of words for family members, ancestors, and even ceremonial relationships hints at a complex social web. Rituals and gatherings punctuated their calendar, often tied to celestial observations or seasonal changes. Fires burned at night, around which stories and songs may have been shared, giving shape to communal memory and collective imagination. Innovation was never far from their daily life. The wheel had begun to appear in their world, carved from solid wood and later enhanced into spoked forms. Carts and wagons allowed for the movement of goods, livestock, and people across the expansive plains. Metalworking, particularly in copper and bronze, began to shape tools and weapons, giving Proto-Indo-European communities both utility and status. In these innovations lay the seeds of cultural dominance. They provided mobility, economic advantage, and a framework for organized society that allowed their language and their influence to spread across vast distances. Yet, despite their technological and social achievements, the Proto-Indo-Europeans were storytellers at heart. Language for them was more than a tool for daily survival. It was a means to describe the world, to categorize the living and the inanimate, and to navigate both the seen and unseen realms. Words for fire, water, earth, and sky were not merely functional. They carried significance, resonating with observation, ritual, and memory. Names for gods, ancestors, and natural forces hinted at the spiritual imagination of a people whose lives were intertwined with the cycles of the earth. From these roots, a rich tapestry of vocabulary began to emerge, encoding not only objects and actions, but relationships, emotions, and the very act of storytelling itself. This language, known to modern scholars as Proto-Indo-European, has left no direct inscriptions. It survives only through the echoes preserved in its descendants: Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, Old English, Russian, and countless others. Reconstructing it is like piecing together a puzzle whose pieces are scattered across thousands of years and hundreds of languages. Scholars have listened to these echoes with the care of detectives, tracing sound patterns, grammatical structures, and cognates, words that share a common origin, to illuminate the contours of a speech community long vanished from the earth. Through this painstaking work, a portrait emerges. A language that was both complex and flexible, capable of expressing nuanced human thought, and rich enough to serve the needs of a diverse, mobile, and innovative society. The story of Proto-Indo-European is also a story of movement. These people were not confined to their initial homeland. They spread outwards, carrying their language and culture across Europe and into Asia. Horses and wagons allowed them to travel vast distances, and their agricultural and metallurgical skills gave them advantages in new lands. Over centuries, their language diversified, branching into multiple daughter tongues, each carrying fragments of the original, each reshaping the sounds and structures inherited from their ancestors. What began as a shared tongue on the steppe became the foundation of a vast linguistic family, uniting people separated by thousands of kilometers and millennia of history. In examining this prehistoric language, one also glimpses the daily lives and inner worlds of its speakers. The words they spoke for family members reveal a concern for kinship and social bonds. The words for animals and crops reveal a deep engagement with their environment. The words for gods and natural phenomena hint at a reflective, imaginative, and ritualized understanding of existence. Every reconstructed root offers a window into their cognition. Every grammatical pattern tells of thought processes that, while alien in some respects, are recognizably human in their logic and creativity. In this sense, the study of Proto-Indo-European is not merely an academic exercise. It is an exploration of the human mind at a pivotal moment in prehistory. As the steppe stretched endlessly under wind and sun, so too did the possibilities for language stretch across time. From this cradle, the seeds of speech would fan out, influencing the tongues of millions, shaping the frameworks of societies yet to exist. In these open plains, amid the grasses, rivers, and herds, the first murmurs of a language capable of enduring thousands of years arose. A language whose descendants would one day fill classrooms, literature, songs, and prayers across continents. And so, the stage is set. Across the Pontic-Caspian steppe, in a world of bronze tools, horses, and seasonal migrations, the Proto-Indo-Europeans spoke a language that was at once practical and profound. It carried their survival, their relationships, their stories, and their dreams. It was a language of movement and of memory, of innovation and imagination. And in its patterns, sounds, and roots lie the keys to understanding not only the past of a vanished people, but the deep connections that link millions of modern speakers across the world to a single shared origin. Across the rolling plains of the Pontic-Caspian steppe, the Proto-Indo-Europeans first took root in a landscape both generous and demanding. This region, stretching from the fertile river valleys near the Dnieper to the foothills bordering the Caucasus, offered a unique combination of open grasslands, scattered forests, and navigable waterways. Rivers such as the Dniester, Dnieper, and dawn carved lifelines through the plains, providing fresh water for humans and animals alike. In the spring, the rivers swelled with melting snow, nourishing the grasses that fed flocks of sheep, goats, and cattle, while migratory birds returned, signaling the changing seasons. Winter, however, brought bitter winds sweeping across the steppe, a test of endurance for both people and beasts. In this climate, survival demanded foresight, cooperation, and adaptability. Settlements were modest but functional. Families constructed low wooden homes, often reinforced with clay and stones, with hearths at the center to provide warmth and a focal point for domestic life. Around these homes were pens for livestock, barns for grains, and storage pits for dried food. Communities were small but interconnected, bound by kinship, trade, and the rhythms of herding and agriculture. Their economy was primarily pastoral, revolving around the management of cattle, sheep, and horses, but it was supplemented by cultivated cereals and occasional hunting. These early farmers, herders, had already begun to manipulate the natural world in innovative ways, carving wheels, shaping copper tools, and harnessing the strength of domesticated animals for labor and transport. Mobility defined their society as much as agriculture did. The domestication of the horse had revolutionized life on the steppe. Riding horses allowed families to cover vast distances in search of pasture, to trade with distant communities, and to respond to seasonal changes. This mobility also provided a military advantage. The ability to move swiftly across open plains could protect herds, assert territorial claims, or repel rival groups. Wheeled vehicles, emerging first as solid wooden carts and later evolving into more sophisticated forms, multiplied the range of human activity, facilitating the movement of goods, tools, and herds with a speed previously unimaginable. Amid these practical concerns, social structures took shape. Kinship was the core organizing principle, and family ties were carefully defined. Terms for father, mother, brother, sister, and extended relations were central in daily life, emphasizing the importance of inherited roles, cooperation, and the transmission of knowledge. Ceremonies and rituals marked important life stages and seasonal events. Fires may have been lit to honor the passage of the seasons, to protect livestock, or to invoke divine favor. Stories, chants, and songs likely accompanied these gatherings, encoding communal memory and creating a shared cultural identity. Language itself became the repository of collective experience, a vessel for both survival and imagination. Within this framework, the Proto-Indo-Europeans demonstrated technological sophistication. The wheel, an invention that seems simple to modern eyes, was transformative in their hands. Carts pulled by oxen or horses allowed larger flocks and harvests to move across the plains, expanding the range of trade and settlement. Metalworking in copper and bronze enhanced both tools and weapons. Axes, sickles, and plowshares improved agricultural productivity, while swords, daggers, and shields offered protection and social prestige. These innovations, combined with mobility, provided a foundation for the cultural and demographic expansion, enabling Proto-Indo-European language and culture to spread far beyond the steppe. Their worldview, expressed through language, reflected both practical and symbolic concerns. Words for cattle, horses, grains, rivers, and tools were not mere labels. They were part of a living system that allowed communities to coordinate labor, navigate the environment, and transmit knowledge. Similarly, terms for family members, deities, and spirits encoded social and spiritual hierarchies. The earliest myths and religious concepts, reconstructed through later linguistic echoes, suggest a veneration of celestial bodies, ancestors, and natural forces. The sky and earth were not only physical realities, but also domains of moral and spiritual significance. These linguistic and conceptual frameworks shaped everyday life, linking the material and the symbolic in a tightly integrated culture. In the course of centuries, this homeland became a crucible for linguistic innovation. The sounds, structures, and words of Proto-Indo-European evolved in response to environmental pressures, social needs, and technological advances. The steppe was both a laboratory and a stage, a vast open space that fostered mobility, yet a demanding environment that required cooperation, skill, and foresight. Within it, a language capable of expressing both concrete reality and abstract thought took form. It was a language built for communication, storytelling, ritual, and reflection. A language that would outlast its original speakers and echo across continents for millennia. The steppe, with its rivers, grasses, and horizon-spanning skies, was more than a backdrop. It was a participant in the story of Proto-Indo-European language and culture. Each bend in a river, each herd of grazing animals, each seasonal migration influenced the words spoken, the concepts conceived, and the relationships formed. Through these lived experiences, the Proto-Indo-Europeans developed a vocabulary rich with nuance, grammar complex enough to handle subtle distinctions, and a system of sound and meaning that would later manifest in the languages of Europe and Asia. The land itself, in essence, shaped the very structure of their speech. From this fertile yet challenging landscape, the seeds of an expansive linguistic family were sown. The Proto-Indo-European language, nurtured in the steppe, was destined to travel far beyond its birthplace. The combination of mobility, technological skill, social cohesion, and imaginative capacity allowed these people not only to survive, but to spread, carrying their language into distant territories. Across rivers and plains, forests and mountains, their descendants would eventually inhabit lands as diverse as the British Isles, the Indian subcontinent, and the Greek Isles. Yet, in every word that traces back to P-I-E, the echo of the Pontic-Caspian steppe remains, a testament to a people whose innovation, movement, and speech shaped the future of human communication. No monuments of stone or clay bear the words of the Proto-Indo-Europeans. No manuscripts, inscriptions, or tablets preserve their speech. Yet, centuries after their migrations began, echoes of their language resonate in distant tongues. Sanskrit chants on the Indian subcontinent, Latin prayers in Roman temples, Old English poems whispered in the winds of Britain, and Greek epics recited under the Mediterranean sun. From these echoes, scholars have pieced together a portrait of the language spoken on the steppe thousands of years ago. It is a remarkable detective story in which sounds, syllables, and grammatical patterns are clues to a civilization that no longer exists. Imagine a linguist examining a Sanskrit verse and then turning to a line of Homeric Greek, to the inscriptions of Hittite kings, to the Latin of Roman farmers, and even to the rhythms of Old English poetry. In each fragment, patterns emerge. A father is pita, pater, and phyta. 3 is trias, tres, tres. Consonants shift predictably across regions. Vowels alternate in systematic ways, and endings mark relationships between nouns and verbs. By carefully analyzing these correspondences, scholars can infer the roots, sounds, and structures of the long-lost tongue. It is as if they were listening across millennia, reconstructing a conversation spoken in the whisper of the steppe winds. The sounds of Proto-Indo-European were rich and nuanced. Its consonants included crisp stops, some voiced, some unvoiced, some with a breathy aspiration that added texture to speech. Resonant sounds like R and L rolled through words, while nasals and semivowels danced between syllables. Perhaps most mysterious were the laryngeals, sounds no longer present in most daughter languages, but hinted at by vowel coloring and lengthening patterns. These subtle articulations may have added a distinctive timbre, a hidden resonance to the words of the steppe people, giving their speech a depth that modern ears can only imagine. Vowels themselves were equally dynamic. Proto-Indo-European had short and long vowels, with subtle alternations known as ablaut. This vowel-shifting system allowed roots to change slightly to signal tense, aspect, or grammatical relationships. A single root could produce multiple forms, one for a statement of fact, one for a command, one for a completed action. In this way, the language was both economical and flexible, capable of conveying nuance without the need for extraneous words. Grammar, too, was intricate. Nouns and pronouns changed their endings to indicate who was acting, who was receiving an action, and the relationship of one object to another. Cases such as nominative, accusative, genitive, dative, instrumental, ablative, locative, and vocative transformed ordinary sentences into precise expressions of meaning. Numbers were distinguished not only as singular or plural, but also as dual, capturing the subtlety of exactly two cattle, two siblings, two hills. Verbs carried markers for person, number, tense, aspect, and mood, allowing speakers to convey a rich spectrum of temporal and emotional nuance. Consider a simple act, a father giving a gift to his son. In Proto-Indo-European, the word for father was ter, for son suchnus, for gift daimon. The verb to give would flex according to tense, aspect, and voice, its root adjusted through ablaut. Through this interplay of roots, suffixes, and endings, the sentence could precisely express not only the act, but who performed it, who received it, and when it occurred. Every utterance was a carefully constructed reflection of thought and circumstance. Beyond the mechanics, Proto-Indo-European was deeply connected to the world of its speakers. Its vocabulary reflected their environment and way of life. Words for the rivers and hills they crossed, the cattle and horses they tended, the grains they harvested, the trees they saw, and the sky they observed, all formed a lexicon rooted in lived experience. Kinship terms underscored social bonds, while words for ritual, deity, and myth indicated a sophisticated spiritual life. When a Proto-Indo-European named the sky Daios, he was invoking both a physical expanse and a cosmic principle, a deity who would later echo in Zeus, Jupiter, and Daios Ptah. Reconstructing this language is not merely an academic exercise. It is an imaginative act, breathing life into the vanished voices of the steppe. One can almost hear a Proto-Indo-European mother calling her children to the hearth, the laryngals softening the consonants, the ablaut shifting vowels to mark tense or plurality. One can imagine a warrior shouting to his companion across the plain, verbs flexing to convey urgency, noun endings clarifying relationships amid the clamor of the herd and the thunder of hooves. In these imagined utterances, the language lives again, vibrant and functional, connecting modern speakers to their distant ancestors. Even the process of word formation reveals the creativity of Proto-Indo-European thought. Roots served as seeds, combining with suffixes and endings to produce nouns, verbs, and adjectives. A root could describe a concrete action, to run, to strike, to eat, or an abstract concept like fame, strength, or law. By affixing derivational morphemes, speakers generated kinship terms, tools, and ritual words. Ablaut patterns not only altered meaning but imbued language with rhythm and poetic potential, allowing early oral storytelling to flourish. Thus, Proto-Indo-European was a language of both necessity and imagination. It allowed a people to herd animals, till fields, trade goods, and maintain social cohesion. It allowed them to tell stories, honor ancestors, and articulate religious ideas. It provided a framework for understanding the world and communicating with it. And in the process, it laid the foundations for a family of languages that would stretch from Ireland to India, from Scandinavia to Iran, binding countless cultures through a shared linguistic ancestry. Every word in Proto-Indo-European carried with it a piece of the world the speakers inhabited. The language was not an abstract code. It was alive, breathing with the rhythms of daily life, the cycles of nature, and the pulse of society. When a father, Fulter, guided a child along a riverbank, or when a herder called to a grazing horse, Hart Equos, the words themselves encoded centuries of observation, necessity, and cultural knowledge. By tracing these words across centuries and continents, modern scholars glimpsed not only sounds and grammar, but the very worldview of the steppe people. Reconstructed kinship terms speak volumes about social structure. Meter, pay-tutor, bre-tutor, and du-tutor, mother, father, brother, daughter, indicate a society organized around family and lineage. Their language reflected hierarchical relationships, inheritance patterns, and obligations between generations. Extended kin likely played a critical role in daily life, providing labor, protection, and social cohesion. In rituals, naming and addressing family members may have been central, connecting language with social performance. Beyond the household, the Proto-Indo-Europeans lived in a world dominated by animals. Cattle, horses, sheep, and goats were the lifeblood of the steppe economy. Words like peku, cattle, wealth, grus, cow, and hoekos, horse, carried both practical and symbolic weight. Cattle were not only food and labor, but also a measure of wealth, a medium of exchange, and an indicator of status. Horses transformed mobility, warfare, and trade, linking distant communities and enabling migrations that would shape the demographic map of Eurasia. Each word for these animals reflects an intimate knowledge of anatomy, behavior, and utility, an encapsulation of human interaction with the natural world. The lexicon extended to the environment itself. Rivers, forests, mountains, and celestial phenomena were named, categorized, and mythologized. The Proto-Indo-Europeans recognized recurring patterns: the sun and moon traversing the sky, seasonal floods of rivers, migrations of birds, and cycles of plant growth. Names for flora and fauna were precise, reflecting both survival needs and cultural attention to the environment. For example, the roots for salmon and beach reveal familiarity with local rivers and forests, while the word dais captures both the sky and a divine principle, bridging the concrete and the transcendent. Technology and innovation found expression in language as well. The wheel, kweklos, and plow, h2 carried more than practical significance. They were symbols of ingenuity. Copper and bronze tools, for both agriculture and combat, were encoded in speech, marking a society entering the early stages of the Bronze Age. By naming their tools and the actions associated with them, Proto-Indo-Europeans embedded technological knowledge into memory, teaching each generation through language itself. Religious and mythological concepts are equally revealing. Terms for the Sky Father, Daius, ph-tur, the earth and other divine entities suggest a rich spiritual imagination. These deities were not distant abstractions, but integral to understanding the world. Ritual language likely structured communal life, reinforcing social hierarchies, ethical norms, and cosmological beliefs. Even poetic expressions hint at oral traditions that celebrated heroes, recounted deeds, and preserved cultural memory. Language, in this sense, was both practical and transcendent, a bridge between human activity and the sacred. From this fertile and harsh homeland, The Proto-Indo-Europeans began a series of migrations that would carry their language across continents. Riding horses, pulling carts, and herding livestock, they moved into Europe, Central Asia, and South Asia, leaving traces of their culture and speech in every region they touched. Archaeological evidence suggests that these movements were neither haphazard nor random, but facilitated by technology, social organization, and environmental opportunity. The steppe provided mobility, while innovations such as wheeled carts, metal tools, and animal husbandry enabled populations to grow and expand. In Europe, they encountered forests, rivers, and hills that contrasted with the open plains of their homeland. Yet their language, already adaptable and nuanced, evolved to accommodate new realities. As they settled, split, and integrated with local populations, the single Proto-Indo-European tongue diverged into multiple daughter languages. Latin, Greek, Celtic, Germanic, Balto-Slavic, and others gradually formed, each preserving fragments of the original lexicon and grammar while also innovating to suit new environments and social contexts. Across the steppes into Central and South Asia, the descendants of Proto-Indo-Europeans carried their language eastward. The early Indo-Iranian speakers spread into the regions that would become Iran, Afghanistan, and the Indian subcontinent, bringing with them pastoral techniques, ritual traditions, and vocabulary that would evolve into Sanskrit, Avestan, and later languages of the Indo-Aryan and Iranian families. Through these migrations, the influence of Proto-Indo-European extended thousands of kilometers, shaping the linguistic landscape of Eurasia in a profound and enduring manner. Throughout these movements, the language remained a living, adaptive medium. Sounds shifted, endings were simplified or altered, words were borrowed or lost, and new concepts were encoded to meet the demands of changing circumstances. Yet the core structures, roots, and grammatical principles persisted, forming a substrate upon which the diverse Indo-European languages would be built. The spread of Proto-Indo-European was thus both a physical migration and a linguistic journey, a process of dissemination, transformation, and preservation. As Proto-Indo-European speakers moved into new territories, they encountered communities speaking non-Indo-European languages, Finno-Ugric groups in the north, Caucasian populations in the mountains, and various other prehistoric peoples across Europe and Central Asia. These encounters were not merely collisions, they were exchanges. Some vocabulary was borrowed, some grammatical patterns influenced by contact, and some cultural practices adapted from neighbors. These interactions enriched the developing daughter languages, leaving traces of shared ideas and innovations. Yet the core of Proto-Indo-European remained remarkably robust, testament to its structural integrity and adaptability. In this context, one can imagine a Proto-Indo-European merchant trading livestock with a Finno-Ugric neighbor, negotiating with words rooted in the ancient steppe tongue while learning new terms from the surrounding cultures. A ritual might invoke deities familiar to the homeland, while incorporating symbolic elements from local customs. In every such interaction, language was both a tool and a reflection of identity, carrying the imprint of a heritage even as it adapted to new realities. From the wind-swept plains of the Pontic-Caspian steppe, the Proto-Indo-European language spread like seeds carried on a vast, invisible current. Across centuries and landscapes, its branches grew into the myriad tongues we now classify as Indo-European. Each daughter language was a living testament to its ancestry, reshaped by climate, terrain, social change, and contact with other peoples, yet still resonant with the original steppe voice. In Europe, the language evolved along multiple paths. The Italic branch gave rise to Latin, which in turn nurtured the Romance languages, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Latin retained vestiges of PYE phonology and morphology, particularly in its case endings, verb, conjugations, and vocabulary, preserving ancient roots such as pater, mater, and frater. In Greece, PIE evolved into Greek, carrying words like phoros, bearing, carrying, and demos, people, encoding social and ritual concepts central to the emergent city-states. Similarly, the Celtic branch spread across Western Europe, its words echoing familial, martial, and environmental roots from the steppe, while the Germanic branch ventured northward, eventually giving rise to Old English, Old High German, and the languages of Scandinavia. In the north and east, Balto-Slavic languages preserved PIE features in fascinating ways. In Lithuanian, Latvian, Russian, and Polish, archaic inflections and verb forms bear remarkable resemblance to reconstructed Proto-Indo-European structures. Even as sounds shifted and endings changed, the structural elegance of PIE grammar persisted, showing the deep endurance of its system. Further east, the Indo-Iranian branch traveled across the steppes and mountains into South Asia and the Iranian plateau. Sanskrit, with its hymns and epic narratives preserved in the Rig Veda, maintains some of the most complete traces of PIE roots, case systems, and verbal structures. Words like Divayu, sky, and Agni, fire, carry both practical and ritual meaning, reflecting the enduring worldview of Proto-Indo-European speakers even after thousands of kilometers of migration. The Iranian languages, Avestan, Old Persian, and their successors, similarly reflect the journey of PIE eastward, bridging the steppe homeland and the civilizations of the plateau. Each daughter language demonstrates a story of divergence, adaptation, and continuity. Phonological changes, morphological simplifications, and semantic shifts occurred in response to local conditions, yet the skeletal framework of Proto-Indo-European, its roots, patterns, and grammar, remained discernible. These linguistic threads form a vast tapestry connecting Ireland, India, Scandinavia, and Anatolia, reminding us that despite millennia of change, a common origin binds these diverse peoples. While Proto-Indo-European itself occupies the steppe and early Bronze Age, linguists have long speculated about its ancestors. Pre-PI, sometimes associated with theorized macro-families like Nostratic or Eurasiatic, represents an even more distant past, before the clear branching of Indo-European into recognizable languages. This realm is largely hypothetical, reconstructed not from surviving texts, but from comparative speculation across multiple language families. In this imagined stage, roots were simpler, phonemes fewer, and grammar likely less complex. Yet the seeds of inflection, root building, and vocabulary expansion may have been present, forming a linguistic substrate that would later diversify into PIE. While these theories cannot claim certainty, they provide a framework for understanding the deeper currents of human linguistic evolution, how early human communities encoded environment, kinship, and ritual into sound and meaning long before the first known words of the steppe. The story of Proto-Indo-European becomes even richer when set against the tapestry of other language families. Across the Eurasian continent, Finno-Ugric, Semitic, Turkic, and Caucasian languages present alternative models of expansion, adaptation, and survival. Compared with Finno-Ugric languages, which spread more gradually and retained distinctive agglutinative structures, Indo-European spread with remarkable speed, aided by technological innovations like the wheel and domesticated horses. Semitic languages, with their long urban histories and early writing systems, reflect a different trajectory, rooted in city-states, trade networks, and early literacy, rather than steppe mobility. These comparisons illuminate not only linguistic divergence, but also human history itself. Why did Indo-European spread so extensively? Mobility, pastoralism, metallurgy, and social cohesion all contributed. The language's structural flexibility, capable of accommodating diverse environments and new cultural practices, facilitated adoption and adaptation over vast distances. Interactions with neighboring non-Indo-European populations enriched the lexicon, introduced loanwords, and sometimes inspired grammatical innovations, but the core framework of PIE proved resilient. In this broader Eurasian context, PIE emerges as an exceptional case, a language born of a specific environment, nurtured by mobility and innovation, and carried across the continent through migration, trade, and cultural influence. Its descendants shaped societies, religions, literatures, and identities across Europe and Asia, and in so doing, preserved a trace of the ancient steppe tongue for all future generations. The winds still sweep across the Pontic-Caspian steppe as they did 5,000 years ago, bending the grasses, whispering along riverbanks, and rustling the leaves of scattered trees. Yet now, the original voices of the Proto-Indo-Europeans are silent, their utterances carried only in the fragments preserved across time and space. One can imagine the echo of a father's call, ph2 ter, the command to herd cattle, the prayer to the sky, daius, the songs of harvest, and the tales recited by fires beneath the vast steppe sky. These echoes, reconstructed painstakingly by modern scholarship, form a bridge between the vanished world of the Bronze Age and the diverse civilizations that followed. In every daughter language of Indo-European, traces of this origin persist. Latin preserves meta and pater. Sanskrit maintains agni and dayu. Greek carries phoros and demos, while Old English whispers feda and modor. Across thousands of kilometers, across forests, mountains, rivers, and deserts, these words reveal a deep continuity, a linguistic thread that ties disparate peoples to a common ancestral tongue. Grammar, too, carries echoes, case endings, verb conjugations, and patterns of word formation resonate faintly in every branch of the Indo-European family. In this way, language itself becomes a vessel of memory, a living archive of a society long vanished. The cultural implications are equally profound. By reconstructing PIE, we gain insight into social organization, economic activity, spiritual beliefs, and technological innovation. Words for cattle, horses, and grain reflect pastoral and agricultural practices. Kinship terms illuminate family structures and social obligations. Terms for tools, weapons, and wheeled vehicles reveal the technological capabilities that enabled migration and expansion. Ritual and religious vocabulary hint at a spiritual imagination, a worldview in which humans, animals, and nature were intertwined, and in which speech served as a medium of both utility and reverence. The migrations of Proto-Indo-European speakers transformed the linguistic and cultural map of Eurasia. From the steppe, they spread into Europe, introducing language, ritual, and pastoral practices. They moved eastward, carrying their tongue into the highlands and plains of Central and South Asia. Along the way, they encountered other peoples, absorbing and exchanging ideas, enriching both their vocabulary and their cultural repertoire. Language became both a tool and a marker of identity, a means of preserving heritage while adapting to new lands and circumstances. Yet, Proto-Indo-European is more than an ancestor of words. It is a testament to human ingenuity, adaptability, and creativity. Its speakers harnessed animals and technology, organized complex societies, observed nature with meticulous attention, and articulated their understanding of the world in language both precise and imaginative. The structural elegance of their grammar, the subtlety of their sounds, and the depth of their vocabulary testify to a cognitive sophistication that resonates across millennia. In every vowel, consonant, and root, one senses the presence of human thought, shaping, responding to, and reflecting a world at once harsh beautiful and full of possibility. The process of reconstruction itself is a tribute to the persistence of human inquiry. Scholars, by comparing Sanskrit, Latin, Greek, Hittite, Celtic, Germanic, Balto-Slavic, and other languages, have reconstructed not only sounds and grammar, but glimpses of the mental and social landscapes of the steppe people. Each root, each morphological pattern, is a recovered echo, a faint voice reaching across time, a bridge connecting the present to the distant past. It is a reminder that human culture, memory, and language are enduring forces, capable of transcending the temporal and geographic boundaries that separate one generation from another. Even today, the legacy of Proto-Indo-European is felt in countless ways. Its descendants form the languages of billions of people, shaping thought, literature, and identity across continents. When one speaks English, French, Russian, Hindi, or Persian, one participates, however unknowingly, in a chain of communication stretching back thousands of years to the steppes of Eastern Europe. Through language, the imagination, knowledge, and culture of the Proto-Indo-Europeans continue to live, influencing the very structure of human thought and expression. In contemplating this legacy, one is struck not only by the reach of Proto-Indo-European, but by the universality of human experience it represents. The steppe people lived, loved, feared, celebrated, and worked as humans do across time and space. Their words for fire, water, cattle, kin, and sky reflect the shared necessities of life. Their inventions, the wheel, domesticated animals, metal tools, reveal the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the human spirit. Their rituals, myths, and songs testify to the same drive to understand the world, to find meaning, and to create continuity through memory and tradition. In every sense, Proto-Indo-European is both a particular story of a people in a specific place and a universal story of human cultural evolution. Thus, the story comes full circle. Across the steppe, beneath the vast skies, the Proto-Indo-Europeans spoke a language that carried the weight of survival, the creativity of imagination, and the beginnings of civilization. From these humble beginnings, their tongue radiated outward, shaping societies, spawning languages, and leaving an indelible mark on the human story. Though the voices themselves are gone, their echoes remain, preserved in the languages, cultures, and thought of millions. To study Proto-Indo-European is to engage in a dialogue across time, to listen for the faint murmurs of the past, and to recognize the enduring power of human expression. In the end, the Proto-Indo-European language is not merely an academic construct. It is a monument to human continuity. It is the whisper of a stepfather calling to his son, a chant beside a fire, a term for a plow turning the soil, a word for the sky itself. It reminds us that language is more than communication. It is a vessel of culture, identity, and memory. From the Pontic-Caspian steppe to the classrooms, libraries, and homes of today, the voices of the Proto-Indo-Europeans endure, a testament to the creativity, adaptability, and enduring spirit of humanity. And there you have it, the story of a language that began as whispers across the windswept steppes of Eastern Europe, carried forward by migrations, innovations, and the sheer ingenuity of its speakers. From the cattle and horses of the steppe to the temples, libraries, and streets of civilizations across Europe and Asia, Proto-Indo-European has left an imprint that echoes in every word we speak today. If this journey through time sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to explore more stories from the past. Stories that connect us to our shared human heritage in ways we're only beginning to understand. And as you go about your day, listen closely to the words you speak. They might just carry the echoes of a voice from 5,000 years ago, calling across the ages.